as we mentioned before, the E-2 visa is not available to every single country, but you need to be part of one of these treaty countries. So how do we think about this? What are the different situations when you have maybe more than one investor?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, United States has treaty with 82 countries. So the first thing you have to obviously make sure that you're part of the treaty countries. Sometimes, we have treaties for E1, and sometimes we have for E2, and or sometimes for both. So it's very important to determine that. And sometimes we have United States has a treaty, and then ultimately they cancel the treaty. That's what happened with Iran a couple of years ago. So these are the more sensitive cases. But how it works? So if you want to get an E2, you have to have the treaty national has to have 50% ownership of the company. So that's the first step. And then if it's two investors, then they can be 50-50 if both of them want to get the E2.
Okay, let's say I have two investors. One is from treaty country 1 and the other one is from treaty country 2. That's okay. We don't need them to be from the same country.
Correct. That's okay. They can be from two different treaty countries, and then they can, if they want to bring essential employees, they can bring essential employees from both of these countries.
Because the essential employees need to be from the same country.
Correct.
That the investors.
Yeah.
So if I'm from Argentina and I have an E2, I cannot bring an essential employee from another. Even if it's another treaty country, if there's no investor from there, I can.
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, perfect. What happens, let's say we are 3 investors, right? The 3 of us are, again, from Argentina, but then 2 of them eventually get a green card.
Then the E2 is over, so we don't have an E2 at that point. The second the investor becomes permanent resident, then the E2 is canceled.
So you stop counting as one of these foreign nationals?
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. What about how these things are adjudicated? Because most visas, you present it to USCIS, and then at some point you go to the consulate. But with E2s, more often than not, you actually go directly to the consulate, and each consulate seems to have a bit of different requirements.
Yeah, so E2, the E2 is a treaty visa, so it is a consular processing. We do discourage filing E2 with USCIS, usually in the form of change of status from a B1 to E2 here in the United States. The consulates don't like it, so and it's more work, more time, and more resources to do both.
Yeah, and USCIS is not used so much to seeing E2s.
Yeah, they know what E2 is, but we tend to get RFEs. They're not really versed on the requirements, so that's why we always tell clients it's better to do consular processing. Now, with the consulates, yes, each U.S. consulate is different, and they have different requirements. So before we actually start to work on an E2, we go to each consulate's website and specifically under the E2 section and see what are their specific requirements. Because what's specific for France is not the same for the UK. And then each country has their own weird small requirements that you have to know before you start applying.
Okay. So this was the part of nationality for the E2 is essential, is where you should start, making sure that you comply, meaning you are a foreign national of this country, none of the investors on the majority have a green card, and then you comply with the requirements of each consulate.